Luftuz is the fifth full-length album from Wulkanaz, a Swedish black metal band who cover kind of dark ambient, raw black metal, as well as their own idiosyncratic influences brought into black metal to essentially subvert its traditions. And that's been evident from the start. As a kind of an offshoot, a step away from Tomhet, a little bit more direct, straightforward black metal duo, and the artist has worked towards his own sound since then, arriving on a punkish, garage rock sounding, psychedelic rock influenced thing early on his first couple of records in the 2010s, and a pretty sharp demo as well. And that essentially was the Wulkanaz sound until he brought in a drummer, Daniel Rockmere of Kraft, and for a couple of records, they put out something that was much more black metal oriented, much more straightforward in its pulverizing drum pace, and just it refined out some of the personality of the group. And the band just essentially didn't continue in that form from that point on, and so he stepped aside and brought similar types of songwriting and work into Wagner Odegaard. And that's, again, it's something I would prescribe as something similar to the punkish side of Arno Pav, Raspberry Bulbs to some degree, and maybe Bone All, depending on the record. It wasn't quite that raw or direct. You'll remember back in 2020, one of my favorite records was Cosmos Octe Tol Jartekin, and that was very much an extension of the style that Wulkanaz had basically introduced about 10 years earlier on some of his earlier releases. As we kind of complete this Ouroboros, essentially he's gotten a different session drummer for this record. They've come back beyond 2018 with the Wulkanaz name, and that means that they're basically continuing where he left off in 2020, but still referencing the 2018 stuff as well. So it's not all thought out that heavily. Really, this is an interesting record that you'll kind of get once you've sat with it a bit. But I'll cut to a clip here, and you'll be able to figure out what this is yourself. So the new drummer in question is a fellow who also plays in Negrum, Kalle Larson, who is a little bit more focused on the fills and the kind of funk of garage metal, garage rock, if you will, and psychedelic rock. And so he really works with kind of the blackened metal punk freewheeling hand of this band in a way that is really complimentary. And while I did like the 2018 record and I reviewed it and whatnot, I think this is a much better record that follows down an even more personal path and is, I mean, honestly, it's just catchier. It really is more stylized, unique, and more willing to just kind of take chances with a lot of strange sounds. And one of the big parts of that is the use of synthesizers, and I think he uses analog synthesizers or his own setup with some kind of organ or electric organ, and it makes for something that feels ancient. It feels like black metal from the 70s, and something that's just unique and entertaining. And I don't think they're taking it so seriously that they're not having fun with it. You kind of have to have fun with these songs because they are kind of punk rock songs in a lot of ways. So I don't know if that's more or less appealing to a lot of folks, but for me, it's something entirely unique that we just don't hear in this realm of underground black metal from Sweden all that often. I've sung the praises of this artist in the past, and I think that I still find that one Wagner Odegaard record kind of my favorite, but I like this a lot as a follow-up. It's almost catchier, it's almost a little bit more right to the point, and it attempts even more in terms of both psychedelic rock ideas as well as those quicker, jauntier, kind of catchier moments. Check that out for yourself. See if it's your kind of thing. For me, that's a very high recommendation. Check it out. It's a very unique item and something that is worth touting for how creative it is in its endeavor. So.